So you want to go over the white paper? We can.
Yeah, let's go over the white paper. We don't have to go line by line, but let's do an overview for anyone who's still kind of new to the protocol.
Gotcha. So we're a fair launch. It combines a virtual mining and an auction hybrid model, and we are decentralized and deflationary. We created what we call smart burn power, which smart burn power is basically your hash power. If you know how Bitcoin mining works, we use the same system. So smart burn power, just think of that as hash power. So you'll buy smart burn power, and the total Bonfire network will have a total smart burn power, which is the hash power of the network. And then you'll have your smart burn power, which is your hash power in the network. And that gives you your percent ownership of that day's mine. And it's pretty simple. Daily mining is 50 million BFX gets released the first 8 days. Then after that, starting day 9, the supply reduces by 1% each day. You can claim your mine tokens daily. So every day, your day mine will become available to claim. But on day 1, we have a forfeiture system. So on day 1, your initial forfeiture is 8%, and that also decreases by 1% per day. So after your 8 days, we call that the vesting period. After your 8 days, you're at 100% mined. Your miner dies. It's no good anymore, but your mined BFX is at 100%, and it can never go down. Your mined tokens can never go down. And after you're fully vested, you'll start earning user rewards at that point, where your miner will start producing more than 100%. It can produce 110%. It can produce 200%. And the max that a miner can produce is 400%, which 100% of that is your mined tokens. And the other 300% is your vesting bonus. And the vesting bonus is 300%. That's the cap. And that's for every user. Every user, all you can get is the max 300% vesting bonus. Now, what's cool about the vesting bonus is it comes from forfeitures that have users have already mined. So users are forfeiting some of their mined tokens, and that's what drives the vesting rewards. So it's not a new inflationary supply that drives our reward system. It's users that wish to claim early and not vest, and they reward diamond hand holders that stay in the vesting rewards pool starting the 9th day of that miner and moving, or that day and moving forward until the users hit their max. And then you would want to claim because your potential is maxed out. And we think that as users claim, they will compound and keep adding hash power to the network. So the hash power, just like Bitcoin network, is going to increase. The amount of people mining is going to increase. The rewards are going to get bigger. And we do have a low supply. The max it can be is 5.22 billion. However, we've already burned 50 million. So we will never hit the max supply. We're already starting to take tokens out of circulation, and we have a slow distribution rate, which will also keep tokens out of circulation. We have a recycle pool that will also keep tokens out of circulation, along with vesting. As people vest, tokens are out of circulation. So it's really a thin float when you get to it. Distribution. The distribution is for 368 days. On day 369, it becomes capped, and that's where we do not have any more inflation, and we switch to deflation. And you'll see we have an example of your first 8 days at 50 million. Then it starts dropping by 1%. So day 9 is 49.5, day 10 is just over 49. And here is your visual graphic of distribution. So when we get to about day 130, it looks like maybe 160, it's way down to 10 million a day, and it's just dropping to 369. it looks like maybe we're at 750,000, maybe 1.5 million. And if you are interested in exact numbers, in our Telegram, we have a pinned Excel chart that will give you day by day how much supply is coming out, how much supply was mined, and you can combine that with the stats we provide on the website and get like you'll be really be able to pinpoint how many tokens are locked, how many are in supply, how many are in circulation. This is our 8-day miner decay. So when you buy a miner, you get 8 separate miners. When on day 1, your miner's at 100%, and it drops by 12.5% each day. So on day 8, it's only running at 12.5%. In day 9, it ceases life. But that's when you start vesting, and that's when you can reach your 300% bonus. This is our mining schedule that kind of explains the 8-day miner process. And when you read the white paper, you play with the Dapp a little bit, watch some videos, and look at this, then you will really start to understand how it works. So I'll go ahead and explain it. We have our days here. This is just 11 days. That's just kind of the size it just worked out to be. Excuse me. So on day 1, if you came and purchased a miner, day 2, you're at 100% power. And if you were to claim, you would forfeit 8% to the vesting pool. Day 3, you're at 87% power. All the way to day 9, it just keeps going down, 12.5% each day. And as you go down, the amount of forfeit goes down as well to where there's no forfeit. So in this example, on day 4, the user came and added a second miner. So we showed what would happen there. So day 5, your day one miner is at 62.5% power, and you can claim it and only forfeit 5%. Now your second miner, it's at 100% power, and if you claim that, you would pay 8%. So these are going to run simultaneously, but they're going to stack hash power like they're one single miner, but really they're 2. So when your first miner ends on day 10, he's vesting and has no forfeit. But your second miner's at day 4 running 37.5% power, and you can claim at 3% forfeit. And down here you see this is day 1 miners fully vesting, earning rewards, and that just keeps continuing until you claim. All of these just keep continuing until you claim or you hit your 300% max bonus. And let's see what else. There was something I was going to say about that. Oh yeah, so vesting pool rewards grow as users claim their tokens early. As users claim, the rewards pool grows, and there's less users that are in that pool. So your share of that pool grows as users leave. So on day 369, once we stop new supply, we cap the supply. 20% of the buy and burn throughout the first 368 days goes to, instead of buy and burn, we buy and lock it inside of the recycle pool. On day 369, the recycle pool is unlocked, and that's what drives new mining without inflation. And we take 4% of the entire recycle pool, and that is distributed each day to miners. So that drives mining way into the future and will drive demand into the future as well. So vesting period is optional, and that's where the forfeits come in. You don't have to. It's not a tax. You choose to forfeit. So that's important. And this just kind of explains what I just ran through. Day 1, you'll mine. Day 2, it's claimable. Your day 1 is claimable as soon as day 2 starts. And you'll get that 8% forfeit. And each day until you hit your 100%, and you can claim up to a 300% max. This has your formula if any users are interested in that. If you're in crypto, you probably already understand it, but if not, it's there for you. So how vesting works and how claiming works. This is pretty cool. So when you are vesting, once you claim, 50% of your bonus gets passed on to the people that are still vesting. Now, what's important here is the numbers that we show you on the website are the numbers you are receiving. So this 50% that you are passing down when you claim is already taken out. So the number you see is what you get. It's not the number you see minus 50%. So that's a good distinction that you should be aware of.
And just real quick, that's probably there's a lot of meat in all this, right? A lot of it will start making even more sense when we get to day 9, when people can see fully vested. Now, it all depends on how many people actually claim and forfeited, right?
Yes.
So, but it'll start making sense as we get there. So,
okay, can I ask a couple questions? And you may be getting to them, so I apologize if I'm dropping them early.
Not a problem.
Is the vesting, is this a separate concept, or is this automatic until you pull it out?
It's automatic until you pull it out. So it's almost like auto staking, but it's not staking. It's a new vesting system.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 10 people, just a quick math, real quick. You have 10 people that are. If there were things that were, let me back up. If there were 20 people that started, right, and 10 of them dropped out over the vesting period, you're going to have vesting rewards, right? We don't know how much that's going to be. If there were big numbers, everybody's going to be happy. If they're small shrimp, they're not. It's not going to be as big. But the 10 people are all vying for a bigger pool, and when the first of the 10 people drop out, the other 9 automatically are at a higher level of potential rewards.
Yes.
So it really is like a last man standing. It kind of just, as you get down to the last man standing, you have the ability to get more BFX.
So every time someone claims their vesting bonus, half of it, so they see the bonus that they're getting, they're going to get that bonus.
Right.
But behind the scenes, everybody else is getting more added onto their vesting.
Yes. 50% of that's going to the rest of the other 9 people.
Yes. And as people claim, the amount of people that share in that pool goes down. So as people claim, not only does the bonus pool increase, but your share of that pool increases. So it's really powerful. You won't see it if you're, if there's 50 users and you're the 30th, you might not see a lot. But if there's 50 users and you're, maybe the 10th, you'll really see a big jump from that, just staying in a little longer.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more question.
Go ahead.
Can you pull that chart back up with the timetable? Yeah, no, the vesting one, that one. Okay, so 5% profit. Okay, so anytime before day 10. Hang on, I gotta work this question in my head before I. Sorry,
I think you're heading down the right path, though.
You will forfeit if you claim before day 10. You will forfeit a percent.
It's not much different from orcs. I say orcs. I don't know how everybody says it, but it's you have a vesting period, and that if you decide you're going to claim it, you're no longer getting what your total amount could have been.
Gotcha. So if anyone nukes beforehand, part of that goes to the vesting period, and then when they claim their vests afterwards, behind the scenes, half of that goes to the other vesting.
Yep.
So we'll call it like, and you can't say this because you're a founder, but I'm going to call it like an anti-cheat tax.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we wanted it to design. Is basically if you want to take advantage of an arbitrage opportunity on the market or whatever, feel free to do that and go get your bags, but you're going to pay the diamond handers for doing so. So when you do that as a user, you're actually rewarding people that don't.
Yeah, and it's a complete. It was designed to honestly make people make choices. That's what it is. It's if the price is up, see, somebody might decide to do something different. If it goes down, they may. There's all kinds of things that you would do, but something that's also cool that we hadn't gotten to is after the last person claims of those vesting rewards, last man standing, their 50% goes into the next 8 days miners as vesting rewards.
Well, hold on. Let me get into that real quick, Rich. I'm right there on the white paper.
Yeah.
So, last man standing. So when the
Hang on
final,
1 second.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Let me one more on this, just so
Yeah,
I
not a
have
problem.
this all wrapped up in my head. Can you claim any of your vesting before the vesting period ends?
Yes. So, it's 8 mining days. You have 8 separate miners. So, and we're going to show you on the website after we cover the white paper, and you'll really start to understand once you see it. But so it's not one miner for 8 days. It's 8 miners, one each day.
Separate miners. They're all living
Yes.
their own life.
Yes, and each vesting pool has its own day with said miner. So if you start a miner on day 5, that day 5 lives on its own day for everybody. So day 5 has its own miner. Day 5 has its own claim. Day 5 has its own forfeit or bonus. Day 5 has its own recycle or vesting pool. So each day literally is separate.
Okay, let me phrase this question a little bit separately, or a little differently. If you if you claim before day 9, day 10, if you claim before the full vesting, part of your miner output is going to the vesting pool, but because you're claiming you're claiming your vesting, so then half of that vesting is also going to the vesting pool. Or am I getting that wrong?
You got the first part wrong. Let's see. When you're mining, you don't mine for anybody else. You're just mining for you. The only time you're sending to the vesting pool is when you claim early. That's the only time.
I think a part of it is while you're vesting, there's no way to earn rewards if that's what you're asking. Maybe that's
okay.
Yeah,
yes.
it's literally it's just building it up. So you don't get any vesting rewards until you're fully vested. You can't participate in it. I think that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
And one thing is, so once you claim, you're no longer vesting, which that's why it's important. Each day is its own. So you can claim your day 1, and then you can leave your day 2. You can claim your day 3, leave your day 4 if you want. So just because you claim one day doesn't mean your other 7 aren't still vesting.
Perfect. Thank you.
Not a problem.
And then you were going into after day 369.
So, well, let's start here. Let's get back on this, the last man standing, because so 50% goes to the vesting pool, that day's vesting pool for the users to split, or the vestors to split. But once the last person claims, 50% of their vesting bonus gets sent to the next 8 mining days. So when the last man claims, there's no pool left because there's no users left. So what we wanted to do was give whatever's in that his 50%. We're going to push that forward to the next 8 days, starting on when the last man claims. So let's say we're talking about the last man for day 1, and it's day 100. The last man claims on day 100. 50% of his bonus goes to day 101, and the next 8 days split evenly. So what that does is that's going to reload or preload those mining days with quite possibly a heavy amount of BFX. And as we get more into the future and there's less supply coming out, there's going to be a lot of days we foresee where the vesting pool will be more than the day distribution. So that would be probably a good day to mine to get into that vesting pool, so you have a higher chance to reach your 300% max bonus. And then so this it basically works the same. We have the mining phase, which is day 1 through 368, and then we call it the recycle phase is after day 369. But because of the way it works, from day 361 to 369, it's going to work just a little bit different down here. When the final user, the last man standing, claims, 50% of their bonus gets added to the recycle pool. and that's just for these 8 days. Then after day 369, there's another little change where 50% gets evenly distributed to the next 8 mining days. So just for these 8 days, it switches, and then it switches back. One more thing about the last man standing, which is really, really cool, is so you can only get 300% bonus. Well, as the last man comes, there's going to be times where there's 2000% bonus to be had, but he can only get 300%. So all of that extra, we'll call it 1700%. All of that extra gets passed down to the next 8 days.
Oh, nice. So
Yes. So
half of his plus everything that remains beyond the 300.
Yeah. So think of it this, and I'll just put numbers.
Yes.
So say the next to last person. I'm just going to throw a number out there, right? Had 200 BFX that was going to go down, right? But the last person, because of their smart burn power, because it's based off your smart burn power, they were only eligible to maybe get 2,000 of that, because maybe they were a small miner at that point. That means that whole amount from the guy before him is still going to go, or the 50% of whatever is left is still going to keep going. So it's not just going to be 50% of what the last man had. It's also whatever was still kind of hanging out that couldn't be claimed by him is going to go.
And that's going to preload the vesting pools on miners that haven't even started, because that day isn't even here yet. So you're going to have days when it's a day to mine, and in theory there should be no vesting rewards, because you haven't mined and there haven't been any forfeits for that day yet, because it hasn't even happened. But because of the way that the last man standing is designed, you're going to have days that are going to have a lot of vesting bonus rewards already built up in the pool. So you're already over 100% of your mined BFX. Your miner's already producing more than 100% power, and we haven't even hit that day yet to be able to start mining. So once we do that and people start forfeiting early on those days that had preloaded vesting rewards, then you could imagine that pool is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, which should, in theory, drive more mining. One more thing, very important with vesting. Unlike staking, you can go buy tokens off the market and stake, where Bonfire, with vesting, the only way to access the vesting pool and bonus rewards is through mining. So you can't go off the market and vest. You have to participate in mining to be able to vest. So that's another important thing, which only makes the mining more powerful. So this is what started it all for Bonfire, is we call it smart burn technology. With buy and burns, if you're unaware what a buy and burn is, if you're familiar with stocks, companies will buy their own shares off the market. Well, with TitanX and crypto, we do buy and burns. We buy tokens off the market and we burn them out of supply, just to create some deflation. And we created a smart burn where the buy and burn is essentially designed to buy the dip. So when BFX to X28 ratio, when BFX drops in relation to X28, we're going to go ahead and scoop up more tokens at a cheaper price to buy and burn. And that should enhance the value of the user funds that are in the buy and burn, because we're not necessarily just buying and burning all the time in a green market or a red market all the time the same. Where if it drops right here, you see trigger 3, if it drops 15%, we're going to go ahead and multiply how much we buy and burn by 3. And that just means that we got a 15% sale on buying BFX to burn it off the market. And when we do that, that creates buy pressure. And with a low float and buy pressure, things happen. The buy and burn is every 8 minutes. We can adjust how much buy and burn is between 1 and 10% of the total balance. And we wanted to have that because this is sort of new. Nobody has done this before, and we want to have a little bit of leeway to make sure that it's working the way that it was designed. We cannot turn it off. The buy and burn cannot be turned off. So it's going to, at worst, it'll be 1% of the total per day. And the maximum we can set it to is 10% total per day. And we will not change it without notifying all of our users. It'll be on Twitter, it'll be in Telegram, it'll be on YouTube before we change it and give everyone time. But that doesn't really affect the user too much. You know, you want to know if you're buying and burning 10% or not, but that's not necessarily going to hurt you, right? So this is our buy and burn allocation. 20% is used to purchase Bonfire off the market and gets locked into the recycle pool. And that's every day through day 368. So 20% of the buy and burn is going to buy tokens off the market and lock them away until day 369. 56% is used to buy and burn BFX. 8% is Element 280. 8% is Morpheus, and 8% is X28. Then when we hit day 369, our recycle phase, just a small little switch, 50% goes to fund the recycle pool and 26% buy and burns BFX. And here is our pretty little flow chart. It just shows you your inputs and how it flows, where it goes. Pretty simple to understand. And this tells you that our non-X28 deposits do get transformed and burn more TitanX. Liquidity pairing, we started at launch with 500 million BFX tokens and 50 billion X28 tokens on Uniswap 3. 8% of funds used to start new miners go to feed the liquidity pool after day 368. So when we hit our recycle phase, we're going to reduce this to 1%. 50% of the fees that we generated in the liquidity pool from trading are going to automatically go back into the LP and compound. So we're just going to keep adding to the LP through LP fees as well. And then the other 50% of the LP fees, we just burn. We like to burn. And this is our allocation as far as input. 84% goes to the smart burn contract, 8% to liquidity, and 8% no expectations. Day 369 and on, it's 91% smart burn contract, 1% liquidity, 8% no expectations. Excuse me. You can go to contracts. This is our contract addresses. You can check the LP adder, the buy and burn. This is our token address. And then we just have your basic disclaimer that says we're not responsible. We're fairly launched. It's immutable smart contracts, entertainment purposes. We are decentralized, and none of this is financial advice, risk awareness, yada, 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 all the good lawyer talk. So yeah, that's our white paper. And if you got any questions, we can go over them. Not a problem.
For the record, we do know this is like a lot, but it's that's part of the fun, I think.
It makes sense the more and more you go into it. Like I kind of had a lot of questions in the beginning, and then I kind of interrupted you guys with those questions, but I probably would have figured it out if I just let you finish, because it makes more sense the more and more you go on. But I'm excited to go through this Dapp now. Let's look at this Dapp. So talk me through this.
Oh, you're muted.
Once you read the white paper, come over and play with the Dapp and maybe listen to one or two streams or something, you should really have a pretty good understanding